It started subtly, like a change in the wind you can't quite place but feel on your skin. That's how I'd describe the beginning of the end of my marriage to Sarah. We had been together for 12 years, married for 8. We built a life, a home, a shared history that I thought was as solid as the foundation of our house. But foundations, I learned, can crack. The first sign was the phone, her constant companion. It was always in her hand, on her lap, or face down on the nightstand. Before, we'd leave our phones charging in the kitchen, forgotten until morning. Now, hers was an extension of her arm. She'd smile at the screen, a private, soft smile I hadn't seen directed at me in months. When I'd ask what was so funny, she'd just wave it off. Oh, just a silly meme, or a group chat with the girls. The excuses were plausible, but the frequency was not. A little seed of doubt was planted. Then came the late nights at work. Sarah was a graphic designer, and deadlines were part of the job. I understood that. But suddenly every project was a crisis. 3, 4 nights a week she'd text me, "Hey, got to stay late to finish this up. Don't wait up for me." The first few times, I made her a late dinner and waited. But she'd come home, peck me on the cheek, and head straight for the shower, claiming exhaustion. The food would sit untouched. The distance between us grew with every late night. I remember one Saturday, I suggested we go for a hike, something we used to love doing. She hesitated, her eyes darting to her phone before answering. "I'd love to, but I promised my friend Chloe I'd help her with some shopping." Later that day, I ran into Chloe at the grocery store. I asked her if she found a nice dress. She looked at me, confused. "What dress? I've been home all day spring cleaning." She tried to cover her slip, saying, "Oh, right, that was last week." But the damage was done. The seed of doubt began to sprout. Her actions were a constant drumbeat of disconnect. She stopped initiating affection. The casual touches, the hand squeezes, the hugs from behind while I was doing dishes, they all vanished. It was like living with a polite roommate. We coexisted, but we didn't connect. When I tried to talk to her about it, she'd accuse me of being needy or insecure. "We're just busy, Mark. That's all. You're overthinking things." She was a master at turning my genuine concern into a flaw of my own. It was gaslighting, and it was brutally effective. For a while, I almost believed her. The biggest red flag was her appearance. Sarah had always been stylish, but this was different. New lingerie, expensive perfume she only wore on her late nights, and a sudden obsession with the gym. She wasn't doing it for me, because when she came home, she'd immediately change into old sweats. She was curating a version of herself for someone else to see. I never went looking for proof. I never checked her phone or her computer. Part of me was scared of what I'd find, but a bigger part of me felt it was beneath me. More importantly, I didn't need to. Her actions were the confession. They were louder than any text message or email I could have ever read. Every lie, every late night, every feigned smile was a betrayal. The final straw wasn't a dramatic confrontation. It was a quiet Tuesday evening. She was getting ready to go out, another dinner with the girls. She put on a new black dress I'd never seen, and the expensive perfume. She looked beautiful, a stranger in my own home. As she was about to leave, she turned to me and said, "Don't wait up." The same phrase she'd used 100 times, but this time I just nodded and said, "I won't." She paused at the door, sensing a shift in my tone. I looked at her, not with anger, but with a profound sadness. "Sarah," I said calmly, "whoever you're going to see, I hope he makes you happy. Because you haven't been happy here for a long time." Her face went pale. She opened her mouth to deny it, the well-rehearsed lies ready on her tongue. But she saw the look in my eyes. I wasn't accusing. I was stating a fact. I already knew. There was nothing left to say. Her shoulders slumped in defeat. She didn't deny it. She just closed the door and left. In that moment, I didn't feel rage. I felt relief. The charade was over. I didn't need a screaming match or a folder full of evidence. Her actions had been screaming the truth for months. The constant anxiety, the self-doubt she had instilled in me, it all began to lift. That night, for the first time in a long time, I slept peacefully. The next day, I started the process of moving on. It was painful, of course. Untangling a life built with someone else always is. But it was also liberating. I was no longer living in a state of suspended disbelief, ignoring the blaring sirens of my intuition. Sometimes the truth doesn't come in a sudden, explosive revelation. Sometimes it's a slow burn, a collection of tiny cuts and quiet lies that eventually tell the whole story. You don't need proof when someone's actions are a confession in themselves. You just need to be brave enough to listen to what they're not saying. Thank you so much for watching and listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, remember that your feelings are valid. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel for more content. Take care.